Oh yeah, we're gonna have to do that. That's true. Okay. Wait. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fever Talk podcast. We
Live from the Canal Court Hotel in Newry, Northern Ireland.
Exactly. So we have done our first day of bikepacking. It started in the plane. Overnight flight.
Also in the rain.
Also. So it started from David and I landed in Dublin from our flight from Montreal last night. We met Caitlin and Franz at the hotel carrying our huge cardboard boxes across the street, and then we started packing. And we had some adventures. So what happened, Caitlin? I mean, just 1 second. If you don't know Caitlin and Franz, they are good friends. You might have seen them on the podcast before, heard them in Val di Sole. We did the Muddy Mondays with them. So Caitlin she's still a racer. She did a cyclocross racer. Franzi is her husband, and he is... What is your title at Pandora?
I'm a director of product management at Pandora Savings.
And on top of being that, he is also an amazing athlete. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame at the UVM. So he's a great skier, and we've done a lot of adventures.
I tell you exactly what Franz is. He's the kind of fucker who says, "Oh, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm not fit enough anymore. I don't know if I can do it." And then he's out there just smashing pedals, and you're like, "How's this fucking guy doing 300 watts up the hill with 40 pounds on his bike?" And he doesn't train. Like he's that kind of guy. That's exactly who he is. We love him like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm always in these situations with you guys, though. All professional cyclists and doing crazy stuff. So it's I don't think I have a choice. Otherwise, I feel like I'm gonna be left behind.
Well, we love having you. So. Yes, what happened this morning? Because we started the day...
The whole bike
Let's
situation.
start with this. Yeah, there was a big bike situation. We started the day quite late. We landed later than planned. And we thought we would hit the road maybe at 10 a.m. But turns out we started the actual riding around 1 p.m. What happened? Let's pass it on to Caitlin.
Well, yeah, I can talk about that. I mean, once we got to the hotel room... well, to back up a bit, I had some issues with my bike and unfortunately was missing a very important part, and I did my best to try to find it in Europe, but couldn't find it anywhere in Europe, couldn't find it in Canada. So Dave and Mags were kind enough to bring a spare bike for me to ride, which is awesome. So I just had to bring my pedals and my saddle from my other bike, but after a few days of lots of logistics and not too much sleep, I forgot to bring my saddle.
I think no saddle. I think for people to understand is that everything that we met these guys this morning at the hotel, and everything we had in there, we had to leave with it because we're doing point to point all the way to Worlds, and then they're flying back home, and we're staying at Worlds a few days and then flying back home. So there was no like, oh, I'll just bring an extra saddle, I'll just bring an extra this or that or this or that. Our bags are about to explode how much they're full, and so when she said she was going to bring pedals and saddle from her bike, I did not bring a saddle because then we would have to throw it away, or same with pedals. So this morning we were -1 for saddles.
But that didn't stop us from having a good time. We actually went to a bike shop, met a wonderful, super nice man who gave you a saddle, right, for free, right?
Yeah, I mean it was a nice bike shop, but they didn't have a large selection of saddles. There was maybe one saddle on the wall. It was really for like a city bike.
The selection was not large, but that saddle
was. The saddle was quite large. So he also he looked at me and the bike, and he knew that this was really not what I needed. So luckily he was super nice, and he went in the back and said, yeah, let me see what I can find. And so he was looking around for a saddle, and he actually found one of his old saddles that he could give me. So I was really in luck with that.
Yeah, I mean, and then it started the day nicely. We were just a little later than planned, but that's the fun thing about bike packing, isn't it? Like, there's nothing else to do. Like, we had nothing else planned today than to ride this route, and so I don't know. I feel like that's the best way to enjoy it is when you don't think in your mind like, you know, in normal life we're always like, I have to be home by 5 because there's this or there's that. But now it's like, you know, we could arrive at 8 or at 3 p.m. and nothing changes. And I think, like, for me, adapting this mindset, it helps me to enjoy it more and not worry about little details like that.
Before we head into our day of riding, we should just send out a big shout out to Shane. Shane at Eurocycle Euro Babies.
Yes, and he's on the podcast.
He's on the podcast.
You will hear
Apparently
about him.
Baby Shop and Bike Shop, great concept.
Yep.
North America, take note.
So we just stopped at the bike shop called Eurocycles Euro Babies, which is a bike shop downstairs and a store for baby upstairs.
Nursery department, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're the nicest man ever. You gave a saddle to Caitlin, so thank you. Can I ask your name? And
Yeah, my name is Shane, and I suppose that's who we are. That's an Irish welcome, you know. That's we love to see this. We're in close proximity to Dublin Airport, so this time of season we get a lot of people passing through, and we just like to be warm, give you a warm welcome, and whatever we can do to help. This morning it was a saddle. Last week it was bike boxes. Who knows what tomorrow will bring, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And so, I mean, you mentioned a lot of people are coming in, so a lot of tourists come to ride here. How is the cycling culture around here?
So in Dublin, you're in North Dublin here at the moment, and cycling culture is, you know, we've got a strong racing culture in North Dublin, but in South Dublin we're quite close to the mountains, so we've got a lot of gravel riding there. We've got a lot of it's more recreational in South Dublin. So as crazy as it sounds, Dublin is quite a small place, but you know it's quite broken up into our social side, recreational cyclists, and then our competitive race cyclists. And certainly in North County Dublin, we've a lot of triathletes and competitive road cycling. Yeah, and
so
then south side is a lot of mountain bikers, a lot of gravel riders, a lot of cool stuff to see.
So we should see a lot of people out there today.
Yeah, well, today the weather's not so great. You know, they won't stop. You might get a wave or a nod off those, off those hardy cyclists. But yeah, hopefully they give you a welcome, and certainly you're going north, so you should also experience that. Yeah, the Irish people are cool. We like to give you that welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Shane. We really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, and he's on the podcast.
He's on the podcast.
You will hear
Apparently
about him.
Baby Shop and Bike Shop, great concept.
Yep.
North America, take note.
All right, so let's talk about today. That was our first day of riding. We thought we had 120 kilometers to do. Turns out we did a little bit more. We did 130. What do you guys think about today? Maybe we can share some of our favorite moments. Franz, you have a mic. So what comes to mind as one of your favorite moment of the day?
You know, I think one of the first favorite moments was once we figured out left-facing traffic.
Oh God, yes.
So that was a little bit of an adjustment. We were all a little jet-lagged, and for the first time hitting the road was a little bit scary.
Yes.
It still is a little bit daunting. Once in a while you fall back into that rhythm of, you know, trying to drift more and more right as you progress in the road. So that was good. And then there were these windows of rain and sun. So it rains really hard for like 15 minutes, and then it stops, and then the sun comes out. And so I think these sunny spots, it's actually a super cool country. Landscape is great. So very nice.
Yeah,
very
I mean,
nice
I agree with you were talking about the weather. It made me understand why all the Irish cartoons and like Lucky Charm, everything that's like based in Ireland, we hear about rainbows. I understand why. Like, it's the perfect weather for rainbows. We saw like 4 rainbows today, because it always, as you said, like it rains, it's sunny. It rains, it's sunny. So, The land of rainbows in Ireland. What about you, Caitlin?
We found a lot of cool like country roads today. That was my favorite. Like, there were some busier roads that we had to take in between, but I really just liked the quieter back roads and the rolling hills. It was super beautiful. And I also really liked during one of the downpours, we stopped like to put a rain jacket on. Thought about stopping for longer, but just said, let's keep going. But we stopped at this little shop, and the older man who owned the shop came out, and we couldn't totally understand what he was saying, but he said something about like, have you no sense? And we just laughed, and he was really wondering what the heck we were doing riding our bikes in that weather. But that was pretty fun.
Yeah, to me, my favorite part today, and that's gonna come in unexpected.
I think I know. That's my favorite
Is
part.
we got to, it's what seemed like a nice little bit of road, and it's got like a covered bridge, and it's super cute. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It looks like we're, finally in the countryside. And then we get, and it's a beach. It's like it dead ends into like a beach, literally, with sand and shells and like no trails at all. And so we kind of like argued a bit about, are we riding on the beach because there is no trails and our bike weighs 70 pounds all the gear, or are we just taking another route? And so I was more on the let's take another route, and mostly I was more on the is this another one of those rides that's like 130k and then 92 of those 130ks are unrideable, and we'll spend the whole day rerouting. But so we ended up trying the sand, and it was for me the nicest maybe 5k or I don't know 3-4 miles that we spent on the beach, and it was super nice with these tiny little river crossing on the beach, and just it was good. We had a nice tailwind, so it was not too bad. So that's my favorite part of the day.
I agree. I mean, it's also my favorite part because I love the beach, but also because everyone, especially Dave, was like, let's turn around. And meanwhile, my question was, but how hard is the sand? And turns out it was pretty packed, and we could ride it, and it was awesome. And we met a nice lady. So yeah, that was my favorite part.
That's the route?
Apparently it is! I'm coming!
You think you want to ride this? Let's ride it. Okay. Hey, vacation fluency? Vacation
try
day.
We're trying it! Let's see! If it's too shit, we turn around!
Options to go out.
Yeah, there's options! So we're trying it! I mean, it's beautiful!
We have one gravel too. Watch out. That can't be right.
But also, yeah, I just think it was just like a fun day. I feel like every moment I was like, oh my God, like this is cool. The green hills, it feels exactly like what you imagine Ireland to be in your head, when you see like the Irish butter and you see like cows on the green hills, that's exactly what it is. And then we saw, even throughout the rain, it was just, I don't know, I feel like I was appreciating every moment. And the people were really nice. Everyone we met was super warm and welcoming and nice. So I think that was cool. We'll try to keep this short because it's already 10 tonight. But I'm curious if there's an item in your bags that you realized today that you're never going to use. So you packed something that was completely useless.
We have a non-functioning wall adapter, so it's supposed to work for the UK and it doesn't, so that's going to be a brick that still works for other parts in the world, and I still kind of want to keep it, but that's going to be just dead weight for this trip.
Dave?
I have a light to ride at night, but I never looked at sunrise and sunset, and sunset's at 9:45 here, so if I'm still riding at 9:45 p.m., there's going to be an issue, I think, so I don't think I'm going to use that light all week.
I'm going to use it all. You can hold me to it. I don't know.
We're going to have an inventory and just tick the boxes. Did you use that shit? Did you use that?
Yeah. That's a tough one. I mean, I also, Franz already said it, but like we're each carrying a functional adapter block, and it's not the smallest item, so maybe that. But I think I'll mostly use everything else. Let's see. I'll come back to that on day 4.
Perfect. I mean, I brought a swimsuit, and I doubt that I'm going to use it. It was pretty cold today, so luckily it's not heavy.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right. Before we move on to tomorrow, is there anything else you would like to share about today, or do you have a question that we should answer?
I want to ask you, what's the most surprising to you? You know, what is like, because it's mainland Europe. We've been to Europe a billion times. Franz is from Europe. But what is surprising so far from Ireland?
Oh. Give me a second.
Pass it along if you don't know.
Do you know?
Ain't nobody surprised.
Yeah.
Yesterday at the pub at dinner, we learned about Irish football, which was mind-blowing. It's like soccer or, just regular football and American football. So they carry the ball, but also use their feet to kick it. And there's almost like a rugby post goal that they can score on, but then also a soccer goal. Or it's crazy sport. So
4 goals.
that was very surprising to me, and people loved it. There was a big playoff game happening, and so it was a big party at that pub. So
I think I know.
grand times.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I
you know
thought of
too?
one.
Me too.
I mean, we saw not a single other person on a bike all day long.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even think we went through a few small cities, and I don't remember seeing a single person on a city bike commuting, like nothing. So yeah, maybe not a popular place for bike riding.
But it was also by every standard in the world, very miserable out there today. If you compare it to Netherlands or Belgium in December, it wasn't that bad because it was 15 degrees Celsius, but 15 degrees Celsius, heavy wind and pissing rain. So not a day to take your grandma out for a ride for sure.
No,
but you know what? To me, I'll layer on top of what you said. The most surprising to me is how fast the people are driving. It's insane
On
how
the
fast
small
they're driving
roads,
their
yeah.
car on the small road. There's a couple cars that passed us with trailers, and the trailers are bouncing almost off the road, and they're going 70 miles an hour in low countryside, and there was almost a crash right beside us because the lanes are not super wide, and people are trying to people are super respectful. They're giving us plenty of room, but they're also swerving over in the other lane, and almost got a little crash there. So
I guess what surprised me is every time we go and speak with someone, I think because everyone speaks English, but they also have words that are to them, or they pronounce differently, or they come from the Irish language that they use in their English, that every time I hear one, I'm surprised. I'm like, oh crap, what'd they say? So that surprised me, but I think I love it. It's just makes you I don't know, kind of feel the culture a little bit more. So I like that, but every time I notice that I've been surprised. So now I want to learn some of those nice words. The champ, yeah, champ. That was mashed potatoes basically, and they use we for little, just a wee. We're just a wee bit longer on this ride, which is nice. Anyway, were you gonna say something?
They also say use when they're talking about people. Yeah, thank yous.
Interesting.
All of you, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
So, it was a great day. Thank you for joining. We ended up riding for 6 hours of riding. Mm-hmm. Got here at 7:30 p.m. No. Yep. And had a shower and a nice dinner at the hotel, and then we start again tomorrow, but with an earlier start. So we think tomorrow we're heading to Belfast, which is, one thing we should mention, we started the day in Ireland. We are now in North Ireland, so technically we're now in the UK, but this morning we were in Ireland because they're two separate countries. I didn't know that until we started planning for this trip. So then we go to Belfast tomorrow. maybe a little bit shorter day. We have 116 kilometers, and we're starting the day. I'm excited for tomorrow. I spent hours on this route, but it's so fun. Like, I'm just excited to see it in person. But we're starting in the Mourne Mountains, so a little bit hillier, maybe some trails in the beginning, and then riding along the coast. So maybe more beach riding. I don't know. Maybe some fish and chips, because there's some on the way. Should be fun.
Max spent literally hours putting his stuff together. So once in a while, we get an email with an entire itinerary of different options, depending on what we want to see or what we feel like. But then listing out all these amazing coffee shops and restaurants and ideas. So very much appreciated. It's she spews some local knowledge too, like the fun facts. So like this is this and this is that. So it's a great tour guide.
Well, thank you, but I wish I knew more. If you know more about Ireland, tell me. I want to know. And then I'll tell them in the ride. So thank you, guys. Have a good night. And we'll come back tomorrow for all that. We have some snippets, not too many audio snippets, only 2. But if you look at this video right about now, in like the next minute, we're about to like just dump all the videos that we took on the GoPro, so you can put images on the words we just said. So enjoy and thank you.
Happy dump, everyone.
All right, thank you, guys. So we landed at the airport around 9:30, picked up our bags, walked to the hotel where Caitlin and Franz were, and now we've unpacked the bikes, packed the bags, and now
We're locked and loaded.
almost ready to go.
Sweaty.
There's one little situation that happened here.
Forgot my seat.
So now it's 11:30 and we're
She's
starting.
riding from Dublin to Glasgow standing.
Legs of steel.
Wish her luck. All right, here we go. Leaving the hotel.
Doing it.
Let's go.
Right. Especially the bag.
Literally what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So how's the new saddle?
Much better than none. much better.
Really fun, narrow little road as we get out of the airport. Good day? We still have, about 75k to go. So we stopped at this coffee shop that we saw. We were attracted by the blue sign. It's called
Buns Bakery.
Buns Bakery. So what town are we in?
We're in Drogheda, County Louth in Ireland.
Okay. What is this town known for?
We have a rich cultural history. If you even go to the church, we have Oliver Plunkett's head, like his actual head is there. Oh, wow. It's preserved in a little box. We have great coffee, great charity shops, and yeah.
I mean, about the head. Whose head is that?
It's a guy called Oliver Plunkett. He was like fighting in one of the battles during the 1916 Rising.
Wow.
And then I think there was like a battle in Drogheda or something, and then he invaded us, and then we captured him and we took his head.
Wow. I mean, that's a great story. Thank you. And great coffee shop too. It's an awesome find. So thank you for having us. What is your name?
I'm Hanson Lamb.
We're now approaching the Ring of Gullion area of outstanding beauty. Over there, those mountains at the back. the sun came out. I will try.
My appetite.
Yes. Time for dinner.
Shower and dinner.
I mean, crazy to think. What? How many hours? Like 14 hours ago, we were still in Montreal.